Welcome to the Spooktacular Halloween party. So I have my ambiance, my little candle here today. I won't leave these ears flashing. I promise. Because I know they're going to get distracting. Hopefully I don't set my office on fire. So I've got some black cherry Merlot candle going. You won't be able to see it because I have no way to hold it up, but it'll set the mood over here. Maybe it'll flicker every once in a while on my face. A little bit of ears. I have a new t-shirt. I have a new t-shirt for every day of the Spooktacular Halloween party. So this one says, it says, I love witchcrafts. And it's got this cute little, I don't know, animal here with his little witchcrafts. So fun. Okay, so we are going to start out with our first kind of treat or surprise of the Spooktacular Halloween party. I will not be reading this book in its entirety. However, I am going to start reading it and then I will announce your first surprise. So for those of you that were waiting to see what happens next, the tagline for this particular book is "Get ready for the deadliest party of the year." And chapter 1 is called Vengeance. Windows stared out at us like dead eyes. The houses in the small village were burned and blackened, their roofs collapsing. Beside me, Marianne sank to the ground, her silent sobs sending a dull pain through my chest. I kneeled next to her. "I'm so sorry," I whispered, putting my arm around her shoulders. I couldn't completely understand how she was feeling. I'd never had a home I felt particularly attached to in any real way. I'd moved around so much, it had been pointless to get emotionally invested in a house or even a neighborhood. But Marianne had spent her childhood here in this secret city. In the past week, she'd become an outcast and a traitor in the eyes of everyone she'd ever loved. Now this, I held her tighter. Glass crunched under Jackson's boots as he walked to the nearest house. The sound echoed through the silence. "What happened here?" I asked. "The Order of Shadows happened," he said. He kicked at a broken fence. "How can you be sure it was the Order?" "I've seen this before," he said. Darkness spread across his features. It was such a painful expression, it twisted my insides. "Where?" I almost didn't ask. I almost didn't want to know. "It doesn't matter," he said. "All that matters is that they've been here. They probably took anything of value they could find and then torched the place. I doubt we'll be able to find any of the old spell books." "Why would they do this?" I asked. "What's the point?" Jackson turned around, surveying the area. "Vengeance," he said, his voice calm for such a passionate word. "And to make sure the crows can never come back." Marianne's sobs turned to deep breaths. She lifted her eyes and wiped the tears from her pale face. "I'm going to look around." Her voice was soft, injured. "Okay," I said. "Do you want me to come with you?" She turned to me, her blue eyes glassy with tears. "No thanks," she said. I watched her walk up through the middle of the village, her steps slow and deliberate. She glanced at the houses on either side of her, then stopped in front of the next to last house on the left side. After a moment, she walked up the stairs of the ruined house and disappeared inside. So literally just a quick little page and a half there for you guys of the beginning of Shadow Demons, which is for the 4th book of the Shadow Demons Saga. And as a little bit of a surprise, I don't have it actually in the description box yet, but I will go back and edit it. Plus I'll post a quick post in the coven as well, that I am going to be giving away 500 copies of this ebook. So if you've read all the way up through book 3 with us here, and you haven't had a chance to grab Shadow Demons yet, if you've already grabbed it, then thank you so much for the purchase. But if you haven't had a chance to grab it, this is your chance to get it for free. So you'll be able to get it on BookFunnel. So you'll get a chance to download it to your Kindle, or you can read it in PDF, or you can read it on Apple Books or any of those other things. So 500 copies. So anybody that wants it, I am passing that out. And let me tell you guys, I am going to be giving away literally, between the free ebooks and other things, there are going to be probably 1,000 giveaways. And I know this is just a small one, but it will go from small ones to big ones. So I have a really huge giveaway that I will be announcing today. That will be the grand prize giveaway as we count down the days to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Beautiful Demons. Just to tell you a brief little story about this book in particular, I actually obviously had started publishing. October 29th is when Beautiful Demons came out to, for the first time. So October 29th was my first, I'm a published author. And I think over the course of that month, I do have the numbers exactly on my blog, but over the course of that first full month of November, I sold something like 59 or 69 copies of that book. And it was such a huge moment in my life, but I just only made, because I only had the books up for 99 cents, selling 69 or 70 copies was still only $30 or something, because you only make about 35 cents a copy. But it was still such a huge accomplishment for me. Then in December of 2010, Inner Demons came out, and I also listed that book at 99 cents. So again, I sold more copies, but I still wasn't making very much money. At that point, I think by the end of the year, I had made, maybe $200 or something like that. And I was just so ecstatic about it. When Bitter Demons came out, and I've told you guys this story a little bit on the live before, but when Bitter Demons came out in February of 2011, George and I had gone out to celebrate over the weekend. This was before we had children, and we just kind of took off to the beach for the weekend. And I got back from dinner that night and was like, oh my gosh, because this was my first full priced book. It was $2.99, and you make 70% royalty. So you make, a lot of you don't know this because you're not authors, but Amazon and Apple Books and all of those pay us a percentage. So when you buy a book for $2.99, the author doesn't get $2.99 because it costs to run Amazon and all that stuff. So if you price your book lower than $2.99, you only get a 35% royalty. But $2.99 and up, you get 70% royalty. So I was going from making 35 cents a copy to, when Bitter Demons came out, I was making $2.04 for every book that sold. And when we got back to the room that night, I had made hundreds of dollars in a single day. And it was such a life-changing moment for me, because it was oh my gosh, maybe I can really do this for a living. And there are actually people waiting for this book, and people really, really excited for what's going to happen and what's going to go on. And it was just oh my gosh, I think for the first time when that Bitter Demons book came out, it was just okay, this is potentially really going to happen. And maybe I can see that people are interested. People like this story. And even though I had made a lot of mistakes, and I felt like some of the writing was clumsy and some of the writing was, not the best, it was still this is happening. So when Shadow Demons came out, actually, I really think, if we're going to be honest, when Bitter Demons came out, that was book 3. I was also I had sold a couple thousand copies, which was pretty big and pretty exciting, of course, at the time. But I think once the money started coming in a little bit, of course, you guys know that I don't do this just for the money, but the money allows you to continue publishing, because it costs thousands of dollars to produce these books and to get the covers and the editing and all of that stuff. So it was okay, this is a really a real career. And I think in some ways that sort of scared me because I was like, oh gosh, there are like people reading this series and like waiting. And I started to have fans emailing me and like, what is this? What is happening to my life? So at the same time, George and I were also going through infertility treatments. And so we were hoping that we were going to have a baby someday, but it was just not happening. And so the doctor was like, well, IVF is kind of your last chance. So we decided we were going to start IVF in October. So we decided for July that year that we were going to fly out to Vegas and just have like a 10-day Vegas vacation because it had been a stressful year. It had been, just a lot going on in our lives. And it was like, okay, we're going to go have this crazy big vacation for George's birthday. And we're going to make this happen. And I published Shadow Demons on, I believe it was July 3rd of 2011. So this was February, March, April, May, June, July. Sorry, I have to count on my fingers. So this was 5 months between Bitter Demons and Shadow Demons, which so far was the longest it had taken me to write a book, which still now I would die to be able to write a book in 5 months every time. But back then it felt like, oh my gosh, there's people waiting. And I had no idea if what had happened with Bitter Demons and making, $1,000 or whatever, selling 1,000 copies was a fluke, or if people would still be waiting for the next book. And so it was one of the most life-affirming releases of my life to release this book in July of 2011, right before this amazing vacation. And it was some of the most fun I've ever had in my life because we flew out. I literally pushed publish on the book and we flew out to Vegas. And so when I landed in Vegas, we were like checking the sales and then we'd go out and we'd do stuff. And I'd come back into the room late at night and I'd check the sales. And I know that it can be crass to talk about money and stuff like that, but I know also that it can also be inspiring for those of you who are, looking to do this for a career, looking for what might happen. I feel like it's important to talk about it. And it's not really a brag. So I apologize, whoever the 3 people are who thumbs down, go ahead and thumbs down because you won't like this. But that month, which was my 4th book coming out and less than a year since I pushed publish, I made $17,000 in a single month. And while we were in Vegas over the course of those 10 days, I think I made like $8,000 just in those 10 days of release. And if you want to talk about, and no, I did not go and spend it all at the, roulette table or something like that. I promise I didn't. I thought about buying a bag, like a Versace bag, like maybe I'll go buy a luxury bag, but then I didn't do it. I was like, let's save this money. Because at the time we were living in this tiny, like well, I say tiny, but it felt tiny, especially actually it felt pretty big when we were living there, just the 2 of us. But once we had a kid, it felt tiny. But we were living in this small, like 1,000 square foot or less than 1,000 square foot, townhouse. And we had these big dreams, but George and I both had cars that were like, 8 or 10 years old. And it was just like, holy, what has just happened to my life? Because I was teaching before, and as a teacher, I think I was making maybe $30,000 a year. George, release months are good months. And that's so true. I think I was making $30,000 in an entire year as a teacher. And I left that behind to become a writer and to move in with George and to start this life of, really take a huge risk on myself. Like, is this ever going to happen? I don't know. And then I took an even bigger risk when I decided to start my own publishing company and, start it and do it all by myself. So I was taking these huge risks and I had no idea if it would pay off. And that month, those few days of walking around in Vegas, and I had blue hair at the time. I should have taken a picture or shown you guys a picture today. But that was like the most magical thing in the world because it was so life affirming to think this could happen to me. Like, I had spent so much of my life looking at other authors, looking up to other authors, really having this big dream and thinking, I know that I want to do this, but I'm terrified that I'm going to fail. And I'm terrified that nobody will care, or that I won't be good at it, or that I'll make bad decisions, or, any of those kind of things. And having that single release that said, this is it. This is happening. People like your work and it's going to be good. Then it took me until January of 2012 to publish Rival Demons. And at that point, I was pregnant with my sweet little boy, was struggling so much to write, but I did get book 5 out, Rival Demons, out by January. And it just continued, it just continued. And actually, Rival Demons to this date is my best-selling book. And, partially because after that, some people started to kind of, not read through. I think sometimes that happens with longer series, that you get a lot of people at the beginning and then people kind of fall off. So most of my author friends, their best-selling book is somewhere around the first few books of the series. So it's pretty normal, no complaining from me. But that book, Rival Demons, because it came out in January and did so well, ended up hitting the top 100 best-selling young adult books in all of Amazon. Like, it was number 98. So I just barely made the list, but I was one of only 2 indie authors on the entire list. Also that year, later in that year, Rival, actually, maybe it was, it was the following year. I hit Google's top 100 best-selling books, not just in YA, but best-selling books of the year. And I think it was 2014 or 2015. I can't remember now. I need to go and get that. But there were also only 2 indie authors on the entire list. And I think this was 2014. There were only 2 indie authors, Morgan Rice and myself. And Morgan Rice actually has an agent and gets a lot of promotion through her agent. I did it all by myself. And I had not 1, not 2, but 3 different books on the top 100 best-selling Google Play books list. And when I met with some of my Google reps at RWA a few years ago, they brought me presents because they said I was one of their best-selling all-time indie authors. And this is not to brag. Maybe it is a little bit, but it's just a way to say, after 10 years, there have been a lot of ups and downs. And even right now, because it's been so long since I've published, a Shadow Demons book or anything like that, my sales are lower now than they were back in 2014. But that doesn't mean I'm out. If you are an indie author or you're looking to do this for yourself, remember that you're going to have those high moments of top 100 best-selling books, but one of the best-selling authors on all of Google Play, or any of those kinds of things. But then you will also have 1-star reviews where people say, this character is unlovable. This author has no idea what she's doing. I hate these books. Who's reading these books? You will have moments where people put you down, where people say that they don't like the way you look or the way you talk, or they don't like the way you write. There are so many people that have told me over the years, your books are juvenile, you're not writing serious fiction, nobody can really make money in young adult. And so there's going to be the up moments and there's going to be the down moments. The key that keeps it level for me, the thing that means the most to me through all of this, and has been, you talk about core values, like your core values as a person, your core values as a company or as a writer. And one of my core values from the very beginning, you can ask George, is community. I always said, what I want to do, the main thing I want to do as an author is change people's lives. I want people to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. I want people to stay up late at night turning pages because they are so relating to these characters and they got to know what happens next. And the money, sure, there have been months that I made $17,000 a month. And then there are the months even after that. It's not like you make $17,000 and then that's the way it is forever. There have been months after that, where you make $500 a month. And so you're going to have highs and lows. And you just have to understand that it's part of the journey to have the highs and lows, and nobody stays on top all the time, and no one's expecting you to stay on top all the time. The key is, are you building a community? Are you believing in yourselves? Are you doing work that really feels like, I'm writing what I love, I'm putting the work out there that I really want to put out there? And so that's kind of my inspirational sort of story from, from a place of how exciting it was when I first put out Shadow Demons. So like I said, I just was barely putting together the link for you guys to go download this. You guys are going to get to, everybody who is on here right now, if you want it, you can have a free copy of Shadow Demons in ebook. And I will have that link for you guys in the Coven. Also, once the replay is over, I will edit the description box on this video. So if you're watching on the replay, you'll be able to find it there. So, okay, I am going to actually turn these off because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, can we stop it with the, oh no, I can't get them to turn off. Let me see. There we go. I know that could be distracting, so we'll just take them off, but they're so super cute. They're so cute. I love them. So I have more goodies and things for you guys today. There are going to be so many surprises over the course of the next few weeks. You won't even believe it. So it'll be 13 days of spooktacular surprises, giveaways, release date announcements, hint, hint, and lots of fun things that are going to be happening. So the other thing that I am going to do, oh, keep them on, keep them on. They were kind of like turning, I think maybe they're too small for my head. So they're like, one is turning forward and the other is, so I've got like one ear pushing forward. These were $1 at the Target dollar spot, by the way. Should I actually turn them on or leave them off? Tell me in your votes. One of the fun things that I think I'm going to do, although this could be a little bit crazy, just to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek as to what is coming over the next 2 weeks. One is that I am going to do a live story. So what I'm going to do is in the Coven and on Discord, for those of you that are not on Facebook, as well as my blog, in a couple of days, I am going to post an image that is atmospheric or somewhat hopefully interesting, and then do something like posting for you guys to give me a prompt. So if it's a girl walking into the woods, then you can give me a story idea. Oh, let's say she's a witch and she heard a mysterious noise outside. Or let's say that she's an evil person who is going out to the woods because she's searching for the woman in the house who's run outside, you know, whatever. But you can come up with anything. So I will give you guys the image and let you come up with a prompt for me. And then I will choose someone's prompt that sounds interesting to me. And then I will share my screen and I will write a story live. And you guys will get to watch and listen to the story and help me write it. And I'm not sure if we're going to do this on Friday or if we're going to do it Monday or Wednesday of next week. So I will let you know exactly what day that's happening, but it's going to be super fun. It might turn out terrible, but hopefully it'll be fun. And if I get stuck in the story, you guys in the comments can help me figure out what happens next, but it'll be super fun. And then once it's over, but when it's over and I'm done writing it, I will post it free to the blog for anybody who wants to grab it or read it again afterward. So that's going to be one fun thing that we're going to do. Another super fun thing that we're going to do this upcoming Saturday. So if you want to mark your calendars, I know we don't have a live scheduled for that, but we're going to do a movie watch along somewhat. So later this week, we are going to I'm going to give you a choice of a few different movies. So if you have a suggestion, Practical Magic is definitely going on the list. Hocus Pocus is going on the list. I was thinking maybe The Nightmare Before Christmas, but if you have any other suggestions of movies that you would like to watch as a group, then we are going to watch a movie together as a group. And I'm not exactly sure how we are going to do it because If I do it live, oh, The Craft. Yes, JC pulls through. I was like, I know there's a movie that I really want to put on here that I am not putting on here. Beetlejuice is also awesome. You know what? I have never seen Halloween Town, so maybe that would actually be a good one to watch. The Craft definitely has to go on the list. I can't believe I forgot that one. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to make a list of movies, and I don't want anything to be like too scary. So, you know, nothing like a horror movie, but something that we could all watch together that we could enjoy. So lots of fun stuff. So we could do a Facebook watch party. I don't know exactly what's going to be the best way to do it because you have to be careful with copyright stuff. So I need to do some research, but we will figure it out. We will figure it out. So it might happen on Discord. It might happen on Facebook. I don't think it will happen here on YouTube because there might be too many copyright issues or whatever. But if you have a suggestion or you've done this with another person before, please email me and say, oh, you know, maybe I've seen someone do this like on a watch party, or I've seen people do it on Discord and here's how they did it. Let me know, because the only other idea that I had would be, so Jennifer said Zoom, and Zoom we could do for sure. The problem with Zoom, like we have 143 people here. Zoom is, I believe, 100 people max, and Discord might be the same way. So it's just kind of hard to choose. The Conjuring. Yeah. Hey, maybe we could do one that's like a family friendly movie, and then one that's like for those of us that like scary things. I've heard people do movie watch alongs on Discord, but I'm not sure how they do it. I think it's built into Discord, or like Dania said, like a Netflix party or something like that. So in that case, we'd have to find something that's available on Netflix or whatever. But I looked up Practical Magic just as an example, and it's not on Netflix right now, I don't think. I think it said you would have to rent it from like Google Play or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll make some lists. So if you have some suggestions, let me know. And yeah, so like Children of the Corn, Poltergeist, those are probably too scary. Now, Practical Magic can be scary too, and might not be something that a lot of kids would like to watch, but it is something I think most of the coven would enjoy. So something maybe not too scary. There was something on Disney Plus. Oh, Disney Plus has Hocus Pocus. So let's, we'll think about it. And of course, we can't pick a movie that everybody will enjoy, but we'll just pick something that seems good. So yeah, so Hocus Pocus isn't on Netflix because Disney owns it. So now Disney has moved all of that stuff over. And there may be a issue with other countries and things like that. So we'll work it out. And if nothing else, oh, Tiger Lily Karen says, I've watched some on Facebook. It must be a watch party or something like that. I'm going to do some research. It's just an idea. I started brainstorming today. We will find a way to make it happen, even if it just happens on Zoom and we just have to limit it to 100 people, and that'll just be the way it is. And some people just won't be able to attend, but we could also do it like some people watching live and some people just kind of on, on text. Yeah. So we'll be doing a poll on Facebook to vote inside the coven. And I know that not everybody is in the Facebook coven, but it's just the easiest place to do a vote rather than just like a ton of other stuff. So yeah. So another way to do it would be everybody plays the movie and we don't watch it together, but we like comment together in Discord or something like that. And I've seen that done before, and that would be fine. So, Lizzie, it's fine if you don't do Disney, but it's not going to please everybody. So we're going to just try to have a good time with it and keep a good attitude with things, and just say, if you get a chance to watch it, we'll try to pick something that's free on some of the streaming services, like something like that's on Netflix or that's on Hulu or something a lot of people have. And if we can't, then we'll just have to do whatever we can. I'll make popcorn. Hey, Chris, I'm so glad you made it. So yeah, we'll kind of see what we can do. And if we can set up some kind of watch party, I'll do that. But I will do some research and I will keep you guys updated. All right. So I am going to share my screen. So day one of the Spooktacular. Obviously, we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary of Beautiful Demons. So that's why I included this image there for today. And I think there's going to be a lot of fun, interactive community type stuff coming up, including not only the, the story that I'm going to be writing, but also some fun games. A lot of the game type things are going to be like memes and different stuff like that, where you're going to get a chance to, do predictive text type stuff and, just different things like that. But I've been working on this for a while. So a lot of that stuff will go in the Coven and on Discord for those of you that are not on Facebook. And I will also try to post them when I can here to the YouTube. And then we'll keep doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday YouTubes. Saturday will be our Halloween watch party. So we'll come up with that and I'll give you more coming up later. But today, we are also going to talk about what are 12 of the number one things that have influenced me in terms of story. Now, I didn't include any anime on this list, but I did include some games, TVs, movies, and book series in here. And this is definitely not a complete, total breakdown of every single movie or book that had an impact on me, but it's just some of the ones that came to mind fastest for me that influenced me as a storyteller for different reasons. And some of these you guys have heard me talk about a million times, and some of these maybe you've never heard me talk about and had no idea that I loved. So number one, and these are not in any particular order, but it's going to be 12 different ones, is Veronica Mars. Raise your hand if you have never seen this show, and I will see if I can find out where it is and direct you to it, because it is absolutely amazing. Megan said, so will the story you be writing like a co-writing project? So it will be a little bit co-written. I'm going to include the community, but the prompt will come from you guys, and then I will just write. And if I get stuck, or if people want to throw stuff out in the comments and say, oh, she should pick that up, oh, there's a thing, and it will be collaborative for sure. And this is not something I'll sell. It'll just be something I post for free. Oh my gosh, look at all these people that I say I never have seen it. You guys, this is not in any way paranormal. It is just, so yeah, I think it's on Hulu. At least it was. So I'm pretty sure. If you get a chance ever to go, I think there's only 3 seasons, and then they did a most recent season, but don't give me any spoilers, because so many people told me with the most recent, as they get older kind of season, that it was terrible. And so I got nervous to watch it, but there's also a movie too. So I haven't seen the most recent season, and a lot of people have told me, please don't watch it because it's terrible. So I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous to watch it, but Kelly says, I didn't watch it until you hyped it up, but once I started, I couldn't stop. Yes. I don't know exactly where it's available, but I think it was on Hulu. I will have to check it out for you guys and see if it's on Amazon Prime. If anybody has an extra browser up and you want to pull it up and see if it's on Amazon Prime. It's so funny how we have all of these things available to us. It is available on Hulu, but I don't know if it's available on Prime. Oh, several of the things that I have on here. So yep, still on Hulu. Hulu owns it. Okay, so it's probably not on Prime, I would guess, if Hulu owns it, but you never know. Sometimes you can buy them at other places. So Veronica Mars season 1. So it looks like it is on Amazon to buy, but not for free. But I love this series. And if you go and you look at the whole Beautiful Demons storyline, the fact that there's a murder mystery, you have a cheerleader who's it's sort of the opposite way. So Veronica Mars herself was a cheerleader, and she was one of the popular girls, but this isn't really a spoiler necessarily, I hope. But anyway, we'll just say, I won't spoil it. I'll just say something happened basically that put her on the outs, not necessarily because of herself, but because of her family. And she was put kind of on the outs of the popular crowd. And so she's navigating her life as somebody who is no longer one of the popular girls. And that includes like her relationships and, other things like that. I have not read the Veronica Mars books, but I definitely should do it. It's available on Prime on Star Play in the UK. So there may be various ways that you can watch it. Dax Shepard makes a cameo appearance. Oh my gosh. For those of you that don't know, Veronica Mars is played by Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard is her husband. And if you know Kristen Bell, you know her. But if you don't know her, she's also the voice of Anna in Frozen. And she's famous for that too, but she's in lots of things, but I just absolutely love her. But anyway, the fact of this kind of sarcastic, snarky teen girl who has been hurt in ways that a lot of teens have not been, who has to navigate not only the high school drama of friendships and love and all of that, but also family, loyalties, and mysteries. So a lot of what she does in this series is solving mysteries for fellow students, as well as the longer, bigger storyline. And this was pivotal because when I decided that I was going to self-publish, I said, I don't know what story. It's like when I had the freedom to write any story I wanted and I didn't have to think about what a publisher would want from me. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much freedom. What should I do? And I couldn't decide on an idea. And so what I did was I feel like these ears are keep creeping forward. I started binge watching Netflix. So yeah, kind of a Nancy Drew type kind of thing. Very modern teen angst, coming of age. I just love Veronica Mars's attitude so much. And Harper is definitely modeled after her to some degree. So it's just incredible. Basically, one of the first things you learn is that Veronica Mars's best friend was murdered and nobody knows for sure who did it. So that's kind of this big, overarching mystery of it. So it's fabulous. It's so well written. It's so well acted. I love it so much. And yes, the Nancy Drew, and there's so many inside jokes and it's so much fun. Maybe we should do a Veronica Mars watch party at some point. We'll see if we can bring that together. So they're just great. If you get a chance, it's incredible. Why does the background look like the library from Buffy? I think they are in the library at their school, but it's definitely not the same room. But it's got a similar vibe to Buffy, even though it doesn't have a paranormal element to it. But when I was watching this, I was like, how cool would it be to write a series like this where you're solving mysteries and there's a mystery in the background and there's always secrets and twists and turns and cliffhangers, but with a witch. And that's where the idea came from originally. So number 2 on my list, of course, because it's a prerequisite of everybody's stories, is, of course, the Harry Potter series. And this was one of the things that when I was teaching, this will age me a little bit, but this came out when I was teaching. And I had several people reach out to me and say, you've got to watch this, or you got to go and read these books because there is a character in it that is just like you when you were a kid. And that is Hermione. I was always the person who was in the front row raising my hand. I know the answer, even when nobody else did. I was totally like that. I thought I knew it all. And so I had teachers come after me. I had friends of friends, parents come after me and be like, you have to read these books, because the whole time I was reading this, I feel like I was reading about you and Hermione. So I was a teacher, and I remember they had a Scholastic book fair, and so many people had told me about these books. I was like, well, let me check it out. And they hadn't reached their full popularity yet. I think there were maybe 3 books out so far, maybe 4. And I was like, okay. Um, let's see what these are about. But back then it was this cover that was kind of the drawn cover, and it looked very like middle grade or young kid. And I just wasn't sure about it. So I was like, well, since I'm here, like, I think I was a music teacher, and I think I was supervising the Scholastic Book Fair, and it was there, and it was like $5. And I said, oh, I got to grab it. Right. So I grabbed it, and I immediately stayed up all night reading the first book. It's not that long. And then went and bought the second, third, fourth, whatever was out at the time books. I don't even think there were 4 out. I think it was maybe 3. And then the rest is history. Every time there was a new release, I had to go to Barnes & Noble and wait overnight to get it, all of that stuff. The funny thing is with this one, so my sister was reading them too, and we had to talk through it, like a million things. Oh, what about this? And then we'd reread them and have discussions. And that level of community with her was so good. But then when the final book came out, I couldn't read it. I literally sat with it for maybe 6 full months, because I couldn't bring myself to read the book. Have you guys ever done that? Where it's like so much a part of who you are, and you don't want it to be over. So you just want to hold on to it. Cause I knew that when I read it, that would be the end of it. And I just didn't want it to be over ever. And it's like, I was dying to know what happened. And I was there at midnight to go and get it. But then I couldn't do it. I couldn't read it. And my sister kept calling me, and she was like, you have to read this book because I got to talk to you about it. I don't have anybody to talk to about this book. And I was like, I can't read it. I can't read it. And then finally my sister broke me down, and she's like, you have to read the final book. It will make you cry, but you have to read it. And so I had, at the time, George and I had like a little 2-bedroom place. And I was like, okay, I've got this giant hardcover book, and I'm going to disappear into the guest bedroom for however long it takes me to get through it. And I will only come out to eat. There might be sobs coming from the other room, but do not disturb me no matter what. And basically I just disappeared into that room for like, I don't know, 12 hours. And of course, cried, laughed, loved, so beautifully done. And there's always that. I think it's difficult to end a series, especially a long series, that so many authors don't end it the way that you want. And this is one of the things I'm scared about, because I, of course, have a very long series that some people have been reading for years. And I'm so nervous because I feel like no matter how you end it, there will be some people who are disappointed. And even when Demons Forever came out, which was the end of that story arc for the first 6 books, one of the first-ish reviews that came through was like, actually there were 2 reviews, and they were posted one right after the other on Amazon from 2 different people. And the first review said, you will not be disappointed. And it just went on and on about how good of a job I did finishing the series. The review right underneath it was a 1-star review that said, so disappointing. And I had to screenshot them because they were right next to each other. You won't be disappointed, and then so disappointing, because some people are just going to not like the choices that you make, or disagree with how you end it, or, anything like that. So if you have never read the books, but you've seen the movies, please do yourself a favor and read the books, because the books are so like 50,000 times better than the movies. Chris says, I saw all the movies before I read the books. It's like, if you could erase the movies from your mind and go read the books, I think you would just love them so much. And I don't really know what the experience would be like having watched the movies and going back. But I think that J.K. Rowling did a perfect and amazing job of ending the series. And I've seen, of course, people have picked these part to death for a million different reasons, but I loved it when I read it, and it touched my heart in deep ways. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to write a long series that has big characters and huge arcs and like really takes you deep. Plus, I loved the fact that she was not afraid to be whimsical, and the names and the chocolate frogs and, just the different stuff like that is so much fun. But then there's real depth in these series. And I think they're incredible. So that's number 2. I'm going to have to speed up if I'm going to get through them all. Number 3, the Matrix film trilogy. I've talked about this in this channel before so much. And I know that there are some of you too that don't necessarily believe this makes up a really good trilogy because you were telling me, and now I can't remember the name of the person that emailed me. But if you're here, hello, said that it actually was written to be a standalone, but it did so well that they built on it. But for me, I love them as a trilogy personally. Even if maybe they're not as structured to be that way originally, I think they work as a trilogy. But this series is one of the main ones that, like, every time I think about story structure and I think about character arc, Neo is brilliant. And I just love it. I think it's one of those series that sparks my imagination every single time I watch it. I could watch it 50,000 times, and every time I'm going to feel inspired to write a good story. And you want to talk about crazy, incredible battle scenes. Like, George sometimes will pull up, some of the Mr. Smith versus Neo battle scenes and stuff like that. But it's like, even the names like Morpheus and things like that, it's just like, what is happening? It's so well done. It's just brilliant. If you have not seen this, there's a Matrix 4. I think that I did see somebody say there was a Matrix 4, and I was like, that can't be real. So is that real? Oh my gosh. How many years later? It's insane. That is crazy and exciting. If you've never seen it, please go watch it, especially the very first one. It's incredible. It's so different, and talk about twists and turns. It's just wonderful. I can't even say enough about it. Maybe one day I need to do a full story structure breakdown. This is one that I have talked about recently. Number 4, The Secret of Nim, or the book version was called Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim. This is a very children's book. It's something I actually want to buy for Andrew. Maybe I'll get him something like this for Christmas or something, but I love this series. My mom was a teacher, and she brought it home for me to read. And I remember putting it to the side and being like, I am not going to read a book about a bunch of rats. I am never going to read this. I hate it. I'm not reading this. This is probably stupid. And I had, at this point in my life, I think I was probably 7 or 8 years old, probably 7, 2nd or 3rd grade. And I had only read maybe some Babysitter Club books and I don't know, just chapter books that really were stuff we read in school, but nothing that had really pulled my attention. And I had literally nothing else to do. And it was 110 degrees outside. And that is not an exaggeration. And I grew up in a log cabin where I had no air conditioning. And that is also not an exaggeration. We had no air conditioning in our house in Georgia in the summer, and it was probably 108 degrees. And all I had was a ceiling fan, and I would go and run a washcloth under the cold water and then just put it on my head and on my neck. But I would be just sitting in my room, just sweating. It was almost cooler outside in the woods than it was in my room. So I read part of this book out in the woods, laying under the canopy of trees, which was a perfect setting for this. And there is a movie as well. But this was the first book of my life that literally, after I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. An entire afternoon disappeared like a time warp. And I thought, that is magic. Whatever has happened here with this book is magical, and I need to experience that again. And it just made me fall in love with reading so much. So this book has to go in, because I thought I want to do that someday. I don't know how to do it, but I want to do it. Oops, spoiler alert. Number 5, I can't believe we're 47 minutes in. I'm going to have to go faster, or we'll have to finish it on Wednesday. Number 5 is The Stand by Stephen King. Also a movie, or a limited series, TV event, whatever, what did they call those when they would do them over multiple days for TV? They didn't call it a serial, but they called it a limited miniseries. Thank you, George, from the kitchen. They did it as a miniseries with Molly Ringwald, and I just love her so much. And it was okay. It was like Rob Lowe, Molly Ringwald miniseries. Yes, Sarah got it too, and Evelyn. And DF Tech Writer. This is a book that I did not read until later in my life. I saw the miniseries and I really, really loved it. But my sister kept saying, you have to read this book. You have to read this book. And it's so long. I mean, when he originally published it, I think his publisher made him cut 100,000 words from the book, if I'm not mistaken. And they were like, it's way too long, cut 100,000 words. And I'm like, man, most of my novels are 100,000 words or shorter for the whole novel. So I think when it was he finally years after, he published the full edition without the changes that the publisher made originally. And it's like 250, 300,000 words. And it is multiple. This was one of the first books that I read that was multiple POV, like cast of characters. Instead of following a single character all the way through the book, it is just brilliantly done where he's zipping from one character's head to another. And so for me, in terms of formative story stuff, it's like one of those first experiences for me of so many different points of view and falling in love with different characters. And he goes into the point of view of some of the so-called evil characters. And it's so captivating. Now, I will say, I don't love the way he ends this book, but that's the way I feel about a lot of Stephen King's books. It's like such a great journey. And then the ending is like, but that's just my opinion about Stephen King. But I love him anyway. I just don't always love his books. Oh, there you go. See, it's not just me. His endings make me stop reading them. I wish it's like if I could just go in and write the ending the way I wanted it to be, it would be better for me. But he's brilliant and his short stories are brilliant too. But The Stand stands on my list because it was not only post-apocalyptic and I loved it, but also because it is the first book that I read that had those multiple POVs that I just had to try doing that for myself. And I know they are redoing that series. So I think somebody just posted that yes, it's coming out again in December with Whoopi Goldberg. I can't wait because I really wish that I've gone back and watched that original miniseries so many times, and I really hope that they do a really good job with it for sure. Okay, so yeah, that's what fanfic is for. I have never really written fan fiction, but maybe I should write a good ending that I like for The Stand. I don't want to say, now I will say I liked the way Under the Dome ended personally, but yeah, there are some that he ends like Doomakey that I liked the ending and others that I don't love the ending for. Okay, so Game of Thrones, and actually I might just end here, but then move to the surprise so that we don't go over an hour and we can finish these on Wednesday. Game of Thrones. Now, I have not read A Song of Ice and Fire. George has read them. My sister recommended them to him and said, oh, you should read these. So he started reading them before we got married. And while we were on the plane flying to Vegas to get married, he was reading, what was it, book 3? He was reading book 3, I think, of the series. And he finished it while we were in Vegas. And he was like, okay, got to read book 4. And he had brought it with him. So he reads that. And he read it while we were there. And he's like, before we get on the plane to head back to home, I got to grab book 5. And so then he started researching it. And he's like, Sarah, there is no book 5. It's been 7 years. He's never finishing it. And he was so upset. So all of my fans who give me a hard time about waiting 2 years need to go talk to George R. R. Martin, because I promise you, I'm not the only one who takes some time to write some books. But I have not read all of these, and he has not finished the series. There's still, I think, only 5 books in the series, and he's got one more that he's been working on. But HBO came to him and said, we want to do this in a TV series, but you have to keep writing. So they did the TV series on HBO and they finished his story. So it's probably unprecedented that a series was not finished, but they finished it in TV form before he finished it in novel form. So very interesting. So all I said, I stopped at book 4. So I can't speak to the books themselves, but I can speak to the TV series Game of Thrones, because for me, this is some of the most masterful twists that I've ever seen in film. And it's or TV. It feels like films because they were like hour plus episodes. Oh, there we go. Kelly says, I still haven't watched the very last episode. See, sometimes you just don't want it to end, or people talk to you so much about, because it was very polarizing. Some people liked it. Some people hated it with a fiery passion, pun intended. But I loved it. I loved the way it ended. No spoilers, please, for those people who have not seen it. But this moment, and I won't even say exactly what's happening here, but this moment that I pulled this image was like, yes, just the writing. Also, the Hodor moment. Again, no spoilers, but for me, the Hodor moment was like, I live for this. If I could someday write twists so good that I could make this happen to make readers feel this way, or set something up in book one that, that doesn't come to fruition until later. It's just, I have to give props to the writers, not only just George R.R. Martin, but the writers of the TV series and the actors as well. It's so brilliantly done. I don't think there's anything like it ever produced, ever. I loved it. I loved it from beginning to end. I absolutely loved it. And yes, I know it's polarizing, especially for those of you who are romance writers. I won't call anybody out. I know that it's a tough ending. But watch it if you get a chance, because I haven't read the last book of Beautiful Demons still. I don't know why. And there are several people that have told me that. They're like, when's the next book coming out? Because I don't want to read Deceiving Darkness yet until I know the last book's coming. And I have some people that are like, I can't handle these cliffhangers, so I'm just going to wait until you're done with the whole series. So maybe people have forgotten about me by now, or maybe there are like hundreds of people out there waiting for me to finish the series before they catch up. So I guess we'll see. But I am going to skip through the, let's see if I actually can. Okay, hold on just a moment. I did the wrong thing. I'm going to skip through those last few, and I am going to instead show you something new. So over the course of the next 2 weeks, I am going to be showing you pieces of a cover that you have not seen yet. And I'm not going to tell you what book it is, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You can guess, but I will not be telling you. But I'm just going to show you pieces, and I will be each live unveiling 6 pieces. So 1 today, 1 Wednesday, 1 Friday, and then again next week, 3 pieces. So until finally on Halloween, I will be revealing the full cover. My ears are like all wacky. This is Christabel, dun, dun, dun. So yes, a visual cliffhanger for you all. And then I'm going to announce the grand prize of this whole shebang. So let me pull it back up. Hopefully it'll pull up on the right thing. All right. So, it's not on presentation mode. So this is a piece of an upcoming cover. And you can guess which cover you think it is, which series you think it is. I'm not going to tell you. However, you can see how there are going to be 6 pieces of this cover, and I will reveal all on Halloween Day. So super fun on that. Now let's talk about the grand prize giveaway. That this will be open until, I guess it'll be open until October 30th at midnight. I'm pretty sure. So Sam, Rory Vega, blonde hair. Oh, I also didn't announce that we have winners for the gloves and for Bitter Demons. I didn't post it on the video yet, I don't think. But Elizabeth Trumbull, you are the winner of the Bitter Demons paperback. So if you're here or you're watching this on replay, I'll also go back and tag on the post from last week. You've won Bitter Demons paperback. And Sam, Rory Vega, you have won your choice of the gloves from Story Arts. So what you can do is just send me an email real quick, and I will send you a link to all the different gloves on storyarts.com. So my email is sarah@sarracannon.com. And you can choose the ones you want, and I will just order them from the site and send them directly to you. So send me your email address or your mailing address, and I'll do that to you. But not do it to you, but send it to you. Evie's in her little PJs too, or not PJs, Halloween outfit too. Don't worry, Jennifer. There are going to be literally hundreds of giveaways in this next few weeks. So trust me, it's going to be good. It's going to be all good. All right. So the massive giveaway that is coming up on Halloween, the day before Halloween, is for the 10-year anniversary. I am giving away a 14-book set of all of the Shadow Demons World paperbacks. The only thing that is published in the Shadow Demons World that will not be in this paperback set is After Midnight, which does not yet have a paperback. But everything else is going to be coming to one lucky winner. It's open internationally, so wherever you are, as long as I can legally mail it to you, I will be mailing it to you. So it is 14 books. So it is all 10 books of the Shadow Demons Saga, and it is A Demon's Wrath, Sacrifice Me Season 1, and Sacrifice Me Season 2, Part 1 and Part 2. So 14 paperbacks. If for some reason you win and you already have some of these paperbacks, I will also give you the option to fill out, like you can just get second set, or let's say you have like the first 5, then I will let you replace that with 5 of my other books. So we'll just leave it at that. If you already have all 14, then maybe I'll just send you like $100 Amazon gift card or something instead. Or I can send you all of them. But one lucky winner will get the entire 14-book paperback set. I will also be giving away 5 full sets of the ebooks, all 14, but also including After Midnight. So it'll be 15 full ebooks. So huge, huge giveaway. And it's going to be more than just these paperbacks. It will also be a t-shirt, a Shadow Demons t-shirt, 3 posters, and more swag. So it's going to be tons of stuff. It's going to be like this huge prize box, and there probably will be a few extra surprises in there as well. So much fun. This is one of the many just small ways that I am going to be giving back to you guys and to all my fans that have given us, not just me, but our whole family, this life beyond our wildest dreams. So Jennifer said Beyond the Darkness is in the puzzle, right? So Beyond the Darkness is this red one here is Beyond the Darkness. So yes, it is in there. Yes, this is our whole little family hanging out here, and we just want to say, let me pull it out this way. We just want to say thank you for helping to give us this life. It has been such an amazing opportunity to be able to write, and I hope that we get to do it for many, many years to come. And there's going to be so much more coming during this fun, spooktacular giveaway time. So that is just the first of many surprises. Also, you guys, I will be posting the link to download Shadow Demons for free in the Coven, but I'll also, if you're not on Facebook, I'll also post it to Discord, and I will edit the description box of this video with a link to it as well. If you want to enter the giveaway, which I know all of you do, you can actually enter every single day by, I think, sharing on Twitter and just visiting my Facebook page and stuff like that, and leaving a comment on my blog. So the link to join is on the description box already. So you just have to go to that link from sarracannon.com. So go to the description box below this video and you can go ahead and start entering. So, and yes, Georgia's shirt does say bring back Firefly because it is one of our favorites. For sure. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed it. Look, she understands my tone of voice, and she's already started like, bye. Do you want to come sit with mommy for a minute? Yay. I'm going to blow this out so she doesn't burn herself. Do you want to grab that candle and just move it? I don't want to burn my baby, either one of my babies. But yes, thank you guys so much. So you can get, as Christabel is saying in the comments too, you can get signed book plates. I'm also almost done with all the book plates that I was supposed to send out, I don't know, 3 months ago. Thank you guys for being patient. They are coming. I've had so many giveaways, and any giveaways that you guys win right now, just know I'm getting to them as fast as I can, but my schedule is super packed, so I'm a little bit late. Oh, Janet's here. Everybody say hi to Janet. This is my online marketing manager. So yay, I'm so glad that you're here. She is helping behind the scenes, make sure that all of these giveaways and all the posts and everything are going out to you guys. So there's going to be so much fun coming up. I cannot wait to share it with you. Tomorrow, there will be some extra posts in the Coven and on Discord and here in the community tab on YouTube. And then we will be live again. Andrew.
Don't get matches.
She wants to play with that. Here, play with this. You want to play with this pen? She's like, no. We will be live again on Wednesday with more surprises, and we'll finish that top 12 list. And we're going to talk about some spooky things on Wednesday as well. So we will see you guys then. All right. Say bye.
Bye.
You say bye?
Bye.
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 You little stinker. All right, you guys, I will see you soon. Oh, newsletter. So there will be a newsletter going out, but I had some technical difficulties. So the newsletter isn't out today. I will let you guys know. I have to wait for an approval from my newsletter company. So just wait for it. It's coming. And there will be some exclusive giveaways in the newsletter as well. So be sure to look out for that in the next couple of days, hopefully by Wednesday. All right, you guys. I love you, and I will see you online in the Coven and elsewhere today. So be sure to enter those giveaways. You can enter once a day. All right. Bye. Bye.